quick and cost-effective renovations to increase the value of your property. Hey, in today's video, we're going to be discussing some easy, quick, and cheap renovations that you can do to increase the value of your properties and get higher rents ASAP. And if I'm new to you, Mel and I have purchased over 240 units in 5 different countries: Canada, Costa Rica, Mexico, the US, and Dominican Republic. We've had thousands of tenants over the years, and here's what we've done in our units. So first, let me start off by saying that not every renovation needs to be this huge gut job, this huge taking out the kitchens, taking out the washrooms, adding this, adding that. It does not need to be that way. My favorite thing to do is find an income property that is just an underperforming asset, right? It's low-hanging fruit, and it just needs a little bit of TLC. So without further ado, let's dive into the first thing that we love doing. It's gonna sound basic, but I'll explain. It is paint. Paint is such a low-hanging fruit, right? It is cost-effective. It doesn't cost a lot of money. What we like to do is we like to make it very neutral, okay? And let me explain why. I love neutral paint because it can go with anyone's furniture. It can go with anyone's decor. Everyone does like these big, like extravagant accent walls where, you know, they have extravagant colors and that. Well, not everyone likes extravagant colors. Not everyone likes extravagant accent walls. Not everyone's furniture will match with that. You might actually lose some renters, or if you're trying to sell it to some people, because yeah, could they paint it, but they don't want to, right? So by going neutral and letting people decorate and spice things up with accent decorations, right? Like throwing a couple of pillows, maybe having a piece of art or a piece of painting or anything like that, that is how they will get, you know, the decor that they want, right? Without having to deal with accent walls or colors that they don't like. Okay, so I've seen this multiple times. Neutral colors, people can envision themselves living there, they can picture their furniture, and then they can make it their own space without actually losing them to the extravagant colors, okay? So this is something we do in every single unit of ours. As soon as we take possession, you know, priority number 1 is paint every single unit, when you can, the exact same neutral color, and that way there's one paint for every single unit. You always know which paint color, you always have paint, you never ever have to go looking for it. Now that goes also for baseboards. So I'll typically do, right, I'll go right away and do all my walls one color, and then I'll do all my baseboards another color, always the same color. Typically, you know, the walls a neutral color, and then the baseboards white, right? Just basic colors. Paint is the number 1 quick renovation you could do. It changes the room like that. Number 2 is flooring. And what I mean by this, so flooring, okay? What I want to chat about here, flooring can mean a lot of different things, okay? And some people want to go super expensive flooring so that it lasts forever and it looks beautiful and they never have to do it again. Well, that might make sense in some rental properties or some houses or flips that you want to do, but it might not make sense in a lot of other ones. Okay, so what I like to do right off the hop is when I'm looking at flooring, I like to get a laminate flooring, okay? Some people call it click, some people call it ton and groove, but a laminate flooring at a relatively decent price, okay? And I put these in all my common areas. Basically anywhere there's not going to be, or should not be, any water. So your hallways, your living rooms, your bedrooms, I do all the same laminate flooring, which is, again, relatively cheap, and you can get away with it. There's also somewhere, like, how do you explain this? And I'm terrible at drawing, but there's also some where, like, let's say you have flooring, okay? And, you know, other pieces here, and let's say, and imagine other pieces, and let's say something happens and these 2 pieces get discarded. They even have some where you can literally pull these 2 pieces out and slap them back in, right? So that's what I love about it, is you can kind of, you know, interchangeable and make it a very cost-effective renovation with the flooring. Coupled with paint, that neutral paint and the laminate flooring, boom, you have just completely changed the landscape of that unit, which means you're gonna be able to charge even more if you're doing a flip, right? The sale price, the after repair value, the ARV, or if you're renting it out you'll be able to increase those dollars that you can charge for. The other flooring we like to do in places, because you're probably thinking, Dave, what about kitchens and bathrooms where there are water? We like to do a waterproof composite flooring. Now this might be a little bit more expensive than the laminate, but it's going to be worth it, right? So this is going to be your composite, okay, composite plank flooring. Let's just put it like that. Composite plank flooring. It might be a few dollars more. However, I've had this happen. I've learned my lesson so many times where I did the entire unit, okay, in this flooring. Contractor went in, beautiful, rented out. Within the first week, the tenant was cooking in the kitchen and spilled a pot of boiling water. And guess what? This laminate flooring had to be completely ripped out, right? And then I had to put this flooring anyway, that composite plank flooring, which is waterproof, water resistant, whatever they call it. But if I had just done this in the first place, I would not have to pay to put this in, to take it out, and then put this in. So I strongly suggest a quick renovation tip when you're doing this. Wherever there's water, have something that is water resistant, but however, is still going to be attractive to your pocketbook. Next up is going to be, well, it's gonna be two different things. It's gonna be mostly countertop, okay? Oops, countertop and vanities. Now what I mean by this, some people think they gotta go in the kitchen, like I mentioned, they have to rip everything out and do everything. No, and this is gonna also talk about paint, okay? So for your cupboards, right? So for the cupboards, let's do this, right? With your little, with your pantries and your cupboards, your boxes and that type of thing. Don't replace them. If you can get away, paint them, right? End up having maybe pick a third color of paint. I'm terrible at writing. Pick a third color of paint, and that can become what you end up painting your boxes, your cabinets with for the kitchens, okay? So that's an easy way to get away with quick renovation. Also the hardware, if you upgrade the hardware, very cheap. But anyway, countertop and vanity, I'll stick to these two. For the kitchen, that countertop, when you're doing your counter, if you just replace that actual countertop, you can do this fairly cheap. And it makes it look like a brand new kitchen. So you walk into a kitchen and you're going, yuck, look at that color, I want a brand new countertop, I want this. Hold up. If you paint those cabinets, right, those doors, and if you go and get a relatively cheap laminate countertop, okay, I'm not laminate floor, I'm just using the word laminate countertop, that will look like a brand new kitchen, and you can do it for a fraction of the cost. And again, if you're looking at this as an income property, which that's how I'm always looking at it, right, an income, revenue generating income property, the more that I can keep my costs down while still getting increase in rent and value is a win-win, right? Because if I keep increasing my costs and that spread isn't far enough, right, that spread between the difference between how much I make and how much I spend, if I keep spending and spending and spending, well, I have to make even more, otherwise my spread won't be there. And I know my drawing is kind of quick there, but if you change your countertop, it'll look like a brand new kitchen. You paint that, coupled with paint on the floor, or on the wall, sorry, and then new flooring, right? It's gonna be the kitchen, so you're gonna want that composite plank flooring, waterproof, but it's gonna look like a brand new kitchen. Same thing with the vanity in your washroom. All right, again, you paint the washroom a nice neutral color that you do in all your washrooms. And if you get a new vanity, right, a new vanity with a countertop, right, they come all in one now, and you got your mirror here and your sink. If you get one of those built-in vanities with the countertop and the sink all in, that bathroom now looks like a brand new bathroom. And you can do this for so cheap. Like, it is unreal, okay? These are very, very quick and easy ways of increasing the value. And think about this, these are gonna be your biggest increase places. They always say it's your kitchen and your bathrooms that if you're gonna put money into your dwellings or into your buildings or have the highest return, they always say it's gonna be these two. Well, what if you can get that by spending the least amount of money, right? You just created that spread even more. And as an investor, you don't want to over renovate. I see a lot of people, okay, again, they keep upping the costs, right? They keep upping the costs. They keep putting, for example, hey, I want to put a marble countertop. I want to put a quartz countertop. I want to do this and this and this. At the end of the day, if your rent, I think this is what I touched on rent for, right? If your rent, let's make an example. So if your rent is going to be $1,200 and you put, this laminate countertop, you painted the cupboards, you put in the vanity, and you spent X amount of dollars, okay? You spent, I don't know, let's just put 10K or whatever, or 20K, again, it doesn't matter what the number is. Now let's say you could get, I don't know, $1,300, but you had to spend $50K. because you ended up doing, you know, higher end flooring, you did accent walls everywhere, you did brand new cabinets and countertop with marble or quartz, you did a new vanity, which is a new vanity, you went over extreme with new countertop here, marble countertop and new boxes and all that stuff, and you got $1,300 as opposed to $1,200. Okay, you have to look at this as an investor. What would you rather? Would you rather still get market rent, right? So let's say market rent is somewhere between $1,200 and $1,300. Would you rather get market rent for $10K? And again, I'm making up numbers here. Or would you rather get really high market rent for $50K? See what I'm saying? Sometimes the juice just isn't worth the squeeze because you've just had to put out so much more money. There's a $40,000 difference. How many months do you have to wait, right, to get that $40,000 back? Okay, and you might say, Dave, I get in my refinance and that, and those are other calculations you have to look at. But this, as an investor, you have to look at these two numbers. What's your end result and how much money do you have to put into it? And at the end of the day, these have been the quick renovations that we have utilized to increase the value of our properties and also our rental amounts per month. So in the end, just remember, do not over renovate, do not overspend. Keep in mind your goal and spend accordingly. But these are some of the quick renovations that I suggest you do to increase the value. And if you've liked this video and want more like this, then make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified. I'm Dave, and I'll see you in the next video.